Hey guys, it's Landon from RH. In this video I'm going to show you how to create a layout for a PDF newsletter in Inkscape. If you're interested, I did a video where I walk through the creation of a few logos for this newsletter. It's going to be called Plotting Your Path. It's going to be about professional development for land surveyors, young land surveyors. In this video I'm going to create the desktop. I'm going to create the desktop layout. I'm going to have two layouts. I'm going to have one designed for desktop, one for mobile. The desktop layout's going to be full 8.5 by 11. The mobile layout's going to be on a narrower, probably 4-inch or maybe 5-inch sheet. So I'm going to show you how to set up the desktop layout in this video. I've got my color scheme up that we made in the video for the logo. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to start by laying out some boxes. And on this, I do want to be a little more disciplined about our layers. So we're going to rename this base. It's going to be our base layer. And then we're going to add a layer. We're going to call this shapes layout. We'll call it shapes layout boxes. And then we're going to add a layer for text, title, text, regular, and then we'll have, we know we're going to need an images layer, and we're going to need an images logo layer, and then we're going to need a, we're going to call it shapes, icons. We're going to use some icons. Oop, I just said econs, sorry. Okay. So let's make our shape layouts layer. We'll make that one current, and we're going to just figure out how we're going to lay these out. Sorry, there goes my phone. Sorry, I got to leave that ringer on because I might get a call. So, what we want to do first is we're going to say, hey, we're going to give ourselves a 1-inch margin at the top and a 1-inch margin at the bottom, and we're going to go 1/2-inch margin on each side, and we want a title area. So that'll be our title area, and then we're going to go with a 2-column layout. And for this, I want the columns to be equal width, I think, for this newsletter. Now this gutter in between here, I don't want to be this big, so I'd like it to be these are tenths of an inch, these cells, so I'd like the gutter to be 2/10 of an inch. Okay, so for some reason that is not working out. I don't know why. Let me try this again. I might have to adjust that grid spacing a little bit to get that to work. Okay, so I need to adjust that grid spacing. You know what? Yeah, I'd really like it to be the same. Let's go adjust that grid spacing. So I'm going to make the X spacing 0.05, and what that allows me to do is get that gutter where I want it. Oop. Okay, so now those gutters, are equal. Okay, so we're gonna drag this down now. We got to remember we want to leave a 1-inch margin, and then I want to leave a little bit of a box for some information, like in a footer. So I'll tell you what, we're gonna bring that down there. And then we'll create a box for our footer here. Okay, so that would be our footer. All right, now we're just going to lay out some placeholder text. So we're going to create some text objects here, and we'll get to the text baseline grid in a minute. Okay, so we're going to put plotting your path. We're going to make that black for now. We're going to go with 24. I can probably make that a little bit, let's try 32, a little bigger. And then what we'll do here is we'll put the article title down below. So let's make this, got a transparency on that. I don't know why, but so let's make that 100. And then we're going to make it a dark gray. I'm going to make these the lightest gray we have available. And then this will be our actual article title. So this first article I'm going to entitle, "When do you deserve a raise?" ? And we're going to give that a color from our color scheme. So let's see, we're going to make that our primary color here, which is 3F5473. So there's our primary color. Okay. Now we want to do some stuff in the footer here, so I'm going to go ahead and copy this color down. So we want to put like the issue. So we'll say this is April 2025 issue. And then we might, feels like it's a little big to me. Let's go over to font and let's just see if we can make that regular Archivo. And we're going to drop that height down. Maybe we'll go 16. And we'll copy that down. And we'll say this is page 1 of 2 because we want some kind of cover page. That might be all I have in the footer for now. So we're going to go ahead and save this. This next part's a little bit tricky. We want to create a text baseline grid. First we want to do our heading. So let's copy our title text down. And we're going to say, we're going to go to our font and we're going to make that, let's say 18. And then we're going to give it a slightly different color from the color scheme. So we'll go with a lighter blue. So let's plug in that lighter blue. I'm going to go 8A0B8FF. So we'll give it that lighter blue. And then we're going to copy that down again. I forgot. This should go on title text. So layer, move selection to layer. Title text. Okay. So then we're going to come over here and we're going to make this, I'm going to try Archivo narrow for the body text. And I'm going to make it 12 units. And then we need a text baseline grid. So it looks to me like that's 1/10 of an inch, that a 0.15 interval for our text is going to work best. So I'm going to come into our document properties here. And we're going to go to our grids and we're going to make this inches. And we're going to change our Y spacing to 0.15. Okay, so now you can see when I do that some of this stuff doesn't line up on the grid. So we're going to get it lined up on the grid. add some body text here. So let's go. You guys aren't going to be able to. Whoop. Whoa. Let me go get our text here that I want for this. So hang tight here. Okay, so here's the text for the article. I'm going to just open it up in it's in Markdown. So I'm going to open it in Typora. So here it is. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to copy the first part of this. So I'm going to go down to here. Okay, so then we're going to come in here and we're going to modify this text. Okay, I'm not going to put the heading in there. So actually I'm going to delete all that. So you can see we've got some issues here. So we're going to grab this and resize it. Okay, now it's not lining up on the baseline grid, so we need to fix that. So we're going to select the text, grab the text tool, and we got to change this line spacing until it lines up on the baseline grid. So I'm going to just try 15 points. Okay, so let's do inches. Let's do 0.18. So I'm trying to get this text to line up. So when I snap it here, I want the bottom of the B to be at this next grid line. So we're not there. It needs to come down some more. Let's try 0.15. Okay, we're getting close, and this is just something you got to trial and error. It's different for every font. Okay, that looks pretty close. So if you zoom in here, man, it's just a little bit too big, but not by much. So let's grab this and say, all right, it's a little bit too big. Let's try that. 0.145. I don't know what just happened. I just messed something up. Yeah, it's just a little bit. Oh, it looks good. So the S dips down a little bit there. So the E, you see, but the V lines up good in the L. Okay, and that's just the way the font's made. So that looks good. That's our font spacing at that size. Okay, so then when we have a new heading, now one of the issues I have here, let's make this black. So that means that this doesn't stand out very well. Let me go back and look at our color scheme. I probably don't have a great color for these subheadings. I don't have anything darker than the title. So let's just copy that style. I don't want my headings to be lighter than my body text, basically. Oh, I just messed that up because I forgot I was going to copy the font over. Okay, so then when you have your next heading, now this is why it takes a little longer in Inkscape. When you have your next heading, you copy this down. Okay, so let's go back to our document, our article here. So here's our next heading. So paste that in. Now, what's going on there is my heading's too long. So we got to word wrap the heading, and then we got to figure out the right baseline spacing for the heading because it will be different. Okay, so I'm not sure if it's going to stack okay on the same row there. So let's try that. And it looks like it's going to fit. It's a little tight. So I either do that or I make it I give it a whole nother extra line. I think I'm okay with it like this for now. Okay, so then we'll go get the rest of that text for that next section. Now this has a bullet list, which is not going to lay out well. So we gotta do something about the bullet list there. And it's got this is supposed to be italicized, so it's got some artifacts from the markdown here that we gotta get rid of. Okay, and then what you end up having to do is you end up having to cut out this stuff from the bullet list, and then you end up having to make a kind of a custom bullet list. But you can see, you can get an idea what this is going to look like. Now what you can do, now that we have this done, sometimes I leave these layout boxes on, but let's plot it to PDF without the layout boxes and just see how it looks. So we're going to come in here and we're going to freeze this. And of course when I do that, a bunch of my stuff freezes because I didn't layer properly. So for now, we're going to put these on the text, just the regular text layer. All right, then we can turn this off. Oh, nope. Turn that off. Okay, so let's see how this plots now. So we're going to save it, and then we're going to save as a PDF. And we'll go take a quick look at that. Whoop. All right, so let's see how that looks here. Okay, so here's how the actual newsletter is going to look. And on this column we can either do other text, but what I'll probably do is like some icons with some notes, or maybe some images here. So I'll give that some thought. But this is how it's going to look. I think it looks clean. We got a little cleanup to do, and I got to figure out how to format that bullet list, but it looks pretty clean. So that gives you guys a rough idea of how you can do a simple PDF newsletter layout in Inkscape. You can use other programs like Scribus or Affinity Designer, or another couple of options that you could use to do this type of work. I'm not sure if I'll do another video on this. I might do another video. I want to add a text layer for the subheadings, and add a text layer for the footer. So I may play around with this a little bit more, but I'll do that. If I do that, I'll definitely do it in a separate video. So appreciate you guys watching. Thanks.